Hey guys, on this week's edition of BS with AJ, we're going to be playing with a lathe. I just recently got one and I don't really know how to use it, so we're going to be learning together. We're going to be attempting to make a honey dipper. Stick around. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BS with AJ. Like I said before, I don't really know what I'm doing with a lathe. I've only used it once or twice before. And so we're going to be learning together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you a few steps beforehand of how I'm setting everything up. And then I'm just going to kind of put it on fast motion and I'm going to be attempting to make a honey dipper. So hopefully you can learn some things from my mistakes and hopefully I can learn a little bit as I'm going. Let's get started. Alright, so for this week's project we're going to be using a scrap piece of 2x4. Now since we're just practicing with the lathe, it's not essential to have a really nice piece of wood or anything like that. So pine is really soft, so it should cut pretty easy, so I can just kind of learn the techniques and everything on a softer wood. And it's also very cheap, so if I mess up on something, it's not that big a deal. So what we're going to do now, since this 2x4 is actually 1.5 inches by 3.5, we're going to go ahead and rip this down to 1.5 inches so we have a square to be working with. Then we're going to go ahead and put it on the lathe and turn it around. Alright, now that we have our square piece on the lathe here, we're going to go ahead and try and turn it around first, and then we're going to start shaping out our honey dipper. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and use the bandsaw to cut off this excess piece right up here. Alright, well here's our final product. Now it didn't come out the best in the world, but being one of my first projects that I've made on a lathe, it's not too awful bad. It definitely could have been better, but I learned a lot while I was making it. And I hope you learned a lot from my mistakes that I made. Also, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down in the comment section below. And I'll see you next week.